Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today we will be going through all of my NetGalley arcs and trying to read them because I'm too scared to see my score, my feedback score, because they always say like it should be like 80%. I'm so scared. But NetGalley is a website where you sign up, you create an account, and you can sign up for all kinds of arcs. They have so many publishers from A to Z, from 0 to 9, so many. And you just sign up. Now, you won't always get every title, of course. Let's see. Because I've been on NetGalley for a while. But for me, it's not something that I regularly look at. It's more like a 3 times a year or twice a year kind of thing where I'll log in after a while and I go ham. I sign up for so many kinds of books. It's ridiculous. And I'm looking at my shelf now. I have 10 books that have been declined. And only one of them I've actually read. I actually have it. But we don't care about that. We don't care. Oh, I have 5 pending. So I'll maybe have to do a second part to this maybe once if I get some of those or not. I don't know. But we want to focus on my give feedback section because I have 5 books that I've been approved for. So let's kind of look at them. Have To Heist by Sarah Desai, which is what I'm currently reading. I started reading this a couple of weeks ago. I put it down because it's a little long. Let's see, it's about 416 pages, but the chapters are very long. I'm not a huge fan of long books and long chapters. It kills me. Not literally, because I'm still here. So, to exonerate her best friend, one woman must mastermind a jewelry heist during the wedding of the season in this hilarious romantic comedy caper from the author of The Dating Plan. I haven't read that. Simi Chopra is on a bad luck streak. She's lost yet another job. Her student loan debt won't stop growing. Her basement apartment is a certifiable flood zone. And now her best friend has been accused of stealing a multi-million-dollar diamond necklace. To put it lightly, she's desperate for a break. That's right when Jack waltzes out of the bushes and into her life. He does do that. Literally, that's what he does. Jack is just as charming as he is mysterious. When he offers to help her find the missing necklace and steal it back, Simi jumps at the chance to clear her friend's name. That was robotic. And collect the substantial reward. But every good heist needs a crew. All she needs to do is transform a ragtag group of strangers into an elite heist crew, infiltrate a high society wedding, and steal the necklace from a dangerous criminal before the happy couple say I do. Meanwhile, the bride is keeping secrets. A detective with a slow burn smile keeps showing up at her door, and the ultimate robbery might not be the wedding con, but the way Jack is stealing her heart. So this will probably be the first book that I get to because I'm actually currently reading it. I'm back. That was very quick, I know. So as I said before, I am currently reading To Have To Heist already. I think around 35%. And what I read to is exactly what it's about. But it's really good. I was really nervous because I was hoping that because it's a rom-com, I was hoping that Simi and Jack didn't have the same humor. She's more like a quirky kind of funny, like not exactly like the I'm not like other girls kind of funny, but we straddled that line, and I was hoping that he was naturally funny, and he is. Now, when I say that, it's not like Simi is trying hard to be funny, like it is coming natural, but again, it's more like a quirky kind of funny. And I was hoping that he brought a different kind of humor, and he does. But yeah, I'm on chapter 12. I'm hoping to finish this pretty soon, and I will come back when I finish it. I finished it. Let's chat. This book was amazing. I feel like it was almost hard to read sometimes because so many things that our main character Simi said, like, I resonated with. And I have already pulled it up. But there's something that she says at the beginning, because I think she quits her job at the very beginning. You know, she doesn't really know what she's doing with her life, right? And she says, she's talking about the job. This is literally me. So her job includes sitting in a tiny cubicle, inputting data into a computer 40 to 60 hours a week. So she says, I was overqualified, underpaid, and the job had nothing to do with the degree I'd spent 4 years at college to acquire. That is literally my life situation right now. It's a great job, but that's literally my life situation right now. And it's frustrating to me. You know, I feel like my life is wasting away. But anyway, I would say that this is a perfect mashup of Ocean's 11. I can never remember if it's Ocean's 11 or 8, but the girls' version. I think it's Ocean's 11, but there weren't 11 of them. I think it's Ocean's 8. I don't remember, but the girls' version. The plot was that, right? The heist. However, the comedy and that was funny, but I feel like the kind of comedy and the kind of humor it had, it was giving only murders in the building. That's what it was giving. I know it's a 5-star for me, but I don't know if I want to be picky and give it a 4.75, because I don't think I would call this a rom-com. It has romance in it, but it's more of like that, the heist. That's really the plot. That is the main plot. It's more of like I said in the Four Aunties video, it's a com-rom, if anything. It's more comedy than romance. Now, the romance that it has, I don't want to say it's a fast-paced romance. However, we really don't see the in-between. In her head, you know, we get these little thoughts like, oh, he's cute. You know, so we kind of see like, oh, so she kind of likes him. And then they're together and they kiss. And it's kind of like, we were kind of missing that transition between them first meeting and her having these initial thoughts of him, and then to them kind of being together. There's also, as I was reading it, I was kind of like, are we going to have like a little love triangle going on? Because there's this other character, there's a detective. There's always a detective. And she doesn't necessarily have feelings for him, but, you know, she kind of expresses that she thinks he's attractive. So I was like, but then I'm like, wait, no, because that's not him on the cover. Jack is on the cover. So it's not a love triangle, but I kind of got those vibes at some point. But I mean, it was overall really, really, really good. I mean, if you check my Goodreads, you can see that I think I started the book on April 10th and it's now April 26th. So I've been reading it a long time. No, I stopped reading it. I think I mentioned that already. I had stopped reading it, but the reason I stopped was only because it was a long book. That was it. And when I tell you, when I picked it back up, I think it was yesterday. I picked it back up. I remembered where I was. I remembered the plot. I remembered the characters. And I still enjoyed it. So this is one of the first times where, yes, I put a book on hold for a very long time. It's not going to affect my rating of the book. Yeah, this was a 5-star. I'm still debating if I'm going to be picky or not and give it a 4.75. But it's still going to be rounded to a 5. That's that. We finished it. It comes out, because I don't know when this video will be out, but this doesn't come out till July. Yeah, we'll be back. I'll be back with another book. I can already tell you I've started The Younger Wife by Sally Hepworth, because that's been out. And so I'm like, I finally need to read this and, you know, like, get through it. So that'll be my next update. We have The Younger Wife by Sally Hepworth, which I've had since January of last year. I need to read it. So this is from the same author who wrote The Good Sister, which I've never read. The husband, a heart surgeon at the top of his field, Stephen Aston, is getting married again. But first he must divorce his current wife, even though she can no longer speak for herself. Oh, the daughters. Tully, and Rachel Aston look upon their father's fiancée, Heather, as nothing but an interloper. Heather is younger than both of them. Ooh, clearly she's after their father's money. The former wife. With their mother in a precarious position, Tully and Rachel are determined to get to the truth about their family secrets, the new wife closing in, and who their father really is. The younger wife. Heather has secrets of her own. Will getting to the truth unleash the most dangerous impulses of them all. Y'all, I finished the book. I cannot tell you how much I regret not DNFing it. It's a 1 star. It's a 1 star. I did not like this book. I don't even know what to say. So I will preface this with, I was reading the arc that I got off NetGalley, and I wasn't enjoying it. I got to about 50%. I'm like, I don't know if I can do it. So I decided to look up some reviews, which I normally don't do. But 2 stood out to me, and they said that the arc version, which I'm assuming which was from NetGalley, was different than the published version, the ending. So I said, oh, no. We're not doing that. We're not going to be reading 2 different books and then whatever. Luckily, I was able to get it off of Libby. It was ready to borrow. I did, and from 60% on or 50% on, I read it on there. And then I told myself after I finished, I would go back to the arc that I had and see what was different. I will say I prefer the ending of the arc version. I don't know why. I like that ending better. But still, I didn't like the book. There was so much going on and then nothing at the same time. Like, I don't know. I as I was reading it, I didn't even know what is it that I should be guessing. And I hate that people call Sally Hepworth in general a thriller writer. She's not a thriller writer. She doesn't write thrillers. She writes suspense, domestic suspense. Now, mind you, I've only read 2 of her books. Would not be reading her again. I've learned my lesson. Her writing style, her writing in general is not for me. Her books are not for me. And maybe it's not written for me, if that makes sense. But yeah, there was so much going on. We have the storyline with Stephen, I was saying Stephen, and Heather. We're focusing on their soon-to-be marriage because she has some trauma from her childhood. Then we have Tully, who's a klepto. What did that bring to the story besides her having like anxiety? And that's why she does it, I think. I don't think that's a spoiler, but I mean, we literally could have taken Tully out completely and it wouldn't have affected the story at all. What she brought to the story, I have no idea. Between her and her bad kids, her husband, I don't know what was going on with her. Then we had Rachel. I actually did like Rachel. She is the younger sister. We focus on her and her lack of relationships, like why there is, and she has some trauma as well. But I did like her storyline. There's a little romance, which I enjoyed. Then we have Pamela, who's the ex-wife and the mom. She has dementia and she's in a home. She has a secret. I don't know what the secret. Y'all. And then we have another person who's not even on the back at all. There's another person, and it's not a spoiler. It's literally the beginning of the book. It takes place in 3rd person. However, this person's point of view is 1st person. I didn't like it. I did not like it. I hate that I'm actually not even gonna forget the book. I guarantee you I still will remember it. For some reason, thrillers, suspense, mysteries are very memorable to me, even if I didn't like it, whereas romance, I forget all the time. As soon as I finish, I forget everything. I don't know if it's because I read them so often or I'm reading so many that are alike. That could be it as well, but I hate that I'm gonna remember this book. And I regret so much not DNFing. If you liked it, I'm happy for you. Sad for me because this is gonna be my last book of April. I don't read the last 2 days of the month. So Saturday and Sunday, I won't be reading. And so I said if I were to finish this before I got home, I would maybe pick up a novella. I don't have the energy in me to do it. I'm exhausted. So by the next check-in, it will be May, and I will be back with another book. No idea what it'll be, but hopefully it's a 5-star. Hell, hopefully it's a 4-star. And then we have my girl, Megan Golden, Dark Corners. I've read every single book of hers. I'm so excited for this. This is a follow-up to The Night Swim, which is one of my favorites by her. This is what's going to be like the Rachel Crawl series, and it's a crime one. And y'all, it's so good. About 800 people have read this, and they gave it an average of a 4. This is my last book of hers that I need to catch up. I've read every single one. So, Rachel Crawl, the true crime podcaster, star of Megan Golden's acclaimed The Night Swim, returns to search for a popular influencer who disappears after visiting a suspected serial killer. Terrence Bailey is about to be released from prison for breaking and entering, though investigators have long suspected him in the murders of 6 women. As his release date approaches, Bailey gets a surprise visit from Madison Logan, a hot young influencer with a huge social media following. Hours later, Madison disappears and police suspect she's been kidnapped. Or worse, is Madison's disappearance connected to her visit to Bailey? And why was she visiting him in the first place? That's what I want to know. When they hit a wall in the investigation, the FBI reluctantly asks for Rachel Crawl's help, and I know that's going to kill them, in finding the missing influencer. Madison seems to only exist on social media. She has no family, no friends, and other than in her post, most people have never seen her. Who is she really? Using a fake Instagram account, Rachel goes undercover to BuzzCon, a popular influencer conference where she discovers a world of fierce rivalry that may have turned lethal. When police, oh my gosh, this is long. When police find, or am I just reading slow? When police find a body of a woman with a tattoo of a snake eating its tail, identical to a tattoo Rachel had seen on Bailey's hand, the FBI must consider a chilling possibility. Bailey has an accomplice on the outside and a dangerous obsession with influencers, including Rachel Crawl herself. So I've read this before already, the synopsis, and it's been a minute, so it's getting to me. This is why I signed up for it. Suddenly the target of a monster hiding in plain sight, Rachel is forced to confront the very real dangers that lurk in the dark corners, see what she did there, of the internet. That is very powerful. It's about 352 pages. I imagine it's going to be short chapters. Like lots of chapters, but very short. That seems to be how she does that. Hello. Hi. I'm back. So I finished Dark Corners. It was a 4-star. It was pretty decent. I enjoyed it. What the synopsis says is exactly what it is. We have an influencer who has gone missing. The FBI, but specifically Detective Martinez, calls Rachel to come and help. But what's different about this is that the first book, The Night Swim, it follows Rachel and her podcast. Like we're seeing episodes being developed. In this, she becomes a part of the storyline, if that makes sense. She's not on the outside anymore. She's definitely a part of it. So that also brings me to, it's not necessarily a whodunit. It's not that kind of a thriller. It's more of a why, a how. What's the connection between why this person did this, why it happened. You know, so I really enjoyed it. And it does have a little romance. It does. Just a little bit between her and the detective, which I ate that up, y'all. A lot of the, what do you call it? The highlights that I do have are kind of like the banter between them, which I really enjoy. It's crumbs, trust me, but I love that. I'm a romance girly. What I love even more than romance sometimes, like romance books, is having a little romance in non-romance books, if that makes sense. You feel what I'm putting down? It's crumbs, it's closed door, or fade to black. I don't know, because they kiss. But there's like 2 scenes where we kind of infer that they did something. But it was really enjoyable. Sadly, it was not a 5-star for me. I think what really did it for me was that last 20%. So the first 80%, right? The story progressed. as it should, right? So we have this first 80%, and the story is going, it's going. We might stop a little bit, but we go. And then once we get to that 80% mark and we have 20% left, it was like, there was so much going on. It was almost too much. Even though the story involves like 5 people, it's really 3 people, right? And even though it's in third person, we're not in their head because it's not first person, but it's still like a chapter is dedicated solely for that person. So we have like Rachel, we have Martinez, the detective, and then we have Thomas. I always want to call him Tommy. I think his name is just Thomas. Then we have Thomas, right? And then we have the serial killer, or he technically isn't convicted of it, so he's a burglar or something. We have, is it Terrence? Because I'm reading a book now, and I think the brother's name in here is Terry. I think it's Terrence Bailey. So we have Terrence, and then we have the influencer that's missing, Madison Logan. Look at me remembering character names. And I don't think third person worked for that last 20% because we were getting information repeated back to us, right? Because we as a reader know more than some of the characters. So the last 20%, some things were being repeated. So we might learn something from Rachel's POV, even though it's not first person, but we might learn something from her chapter. And then in the next, in Detective Martinez chapter, the information is being relayed again. But like not summarizing, like it's being relayed again, literally. Like we just read that. So that to me, there was a lot of repetition going on at the end. That didn't really work for me, as well as just, there was too much. There was so many different things. Like if you do read it, you'll definitely understand what I'm saying. It was a lot. Almost to the point where as we were getting towards the end, as we were reaching the end, I was almost kind of worried because I'm like, are we going to be left with some unanswered things? You're not. Everything is answered, but it's a lot of information to take in. It really is. But it was enjoyable. I gave it a 4-star. It's definitely not my least favorite Megan Golden book, which I've read all of her books. Even the one that she don't even talk about no more, which is The Girl in Keller's Way, which is her first book. But I still prefer this one over Stay Awake. But I will say about her books, I feel like they can always be shorter than they are. And they're not even that long. It's an average length to me, 350 pages. But I think they could be a little shorter than that. 300 pages, 320, 280. I don't think they need to be as long as they are. But yeah, I enjoyed this one. That's one more NetGalley arc that is ticked off. I think this comes out August. She's an August girly. Most of her books always come out in the fall. I don't know. I'll put the date up when it comes out. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was a 4-star. I'll be back with another video. And I only have 2 more. Yeah. So then we have The Name Drop by Susan Lee. Love the cover. Love the cover. So this one's long too. 47 people have read this and they've given it like an average of 4 stars. New from the author of Soulmates comes a story of mistaken identities, the summer of a lifetime, and a love to risk everything for. When Elijah Rhee arrives in New York City for an internship at his father's massive tech company, Hanul Corporation, he expects the royal treatment that comes with being the future CEO, even if that's the last thing he wants. But instead, he finds himself shuffled into a group of overworked, unpaid interns, all sharing a shoebox apartment for the summer. When Jessica Lee arrives in New York City, she's eager to make the most of her internship at Hanul Corporation, even if she's at the bottom of the corporate ladder, but she's shocked to be introduced as the new executive in training intern with a gorgeous brownstone all to herself. It doesn't take long for Elijah and Jessica to discover the source of the mistake. They share the same Korean name, but they decide to stay switched so Elijah can have a relaxing summer away from his controlling dad, while Jessica can make the connections she desperately needs for college recommendations. As Elijah and Jessica work to keep up the charade, a spark develops between them. We love a spark. Can they avoid discovery and total disaster with their feelings and futures on the line? Yeah, we like that. So I'm not surprised that this one is on the longer side. It's about 384 pages. Just because of what it is, it's a mistaken identity. So it's like the story has to set up, you know, before we can get to the goodies. So we will be reading that. Hi! Quick update. Because guess what? I got a package today. I've never ordered from them before. The Temu thing. Okay, so these are the headphones I got. That is all beat. It's the dupe for the Apple ones. I'm not even a headphones person. However, I want to see if it helps me read because I do like listening to, like especially around the holidays, Googling, what do you call it? Like just soft music to listen to. But, ew, they really do feel cheap. Hello? How do you set this up? Do I look cool? Yeah, they do feel a little cheap. I mean, they were only $12, but okay. What is it that I started reading? Oh, the name drop. I started reading it. So I'm on about chapter 7. And I did just get to the part where, how do you use this? I'm so confused. I thought I just had instructions. Where are the buttons? Oh. Okay, hold on, y'all. So, it's not as long as I thought it was gonna be. The chapters are actually pretty short to me. And so, these came in at the perfect time. Oh, connected. Because I want to see how much I can read, you know, with these on. But it is what it is. These are nice. This is what I like to listen to. It's okay. Okay, so I'm gonna listen to this and see how much I can read. What time is it? Okay, so I'm gonna show you guys what page I'm on. It's 445. Well, you can't see page numbers since it's an arc. But I'm on 23% and I only have 3 hours. I'm sorry if I'm screaming. Hold on. Okay, I paused it. And I only have 3 hours and 49 minutes left. So, yeah, the book is actually shorter than I thought it was. The chapters are really not that long. And I think I already said this, but I'll say it again. I just got to the part where they're literally about to find out that they switched, that there was some kind of mishap that happened because people are lazy. 446. Let's see how much we can read. So I'm gonna have to charge it. I don't know why I thought they would have sent it to me powered up. Ended up reading, I'm probably on like 25%. 25%. I'm really enjoying it, and a cute thing just happened. I finished it. Let me start off by saying this. When I first went into the book, I was nervous because I'm like, I love the cover. And I'm hoping that I love the book just as much. And so I'm like, I hope it's at least a 4-star. as I'm reading, I'm like, yeah, this is probably gonna be a solid 4. And then it's like, as I kept going and I got to about like 60 to 65%, I was like, oh my gosh, come closer. Is this gonna be a 5-star? Absolutely. I finished it and I was like, there's no way I could give this anything under a 5-star. I absolutely loved it. The chemistry between them was there, but also all of the different things that the author, you know, spoke about. There was misogyny in here, and they spoke on that. So it wasn't just, you know, some kind of cutesy romance. And there's a lot that the characters had to learn and stuff that they dealt with. What really makes me mad, because as I was reading this, it made me think of that art, what people tried to argue, you know, about not reading BIPOC books in general. It's like, oh, I can't relate because I'm not black, or I'm not whoever is in the book. And it kills me that there are going to be some people who don't read this book because of that. It's like, what? First of all, that's not even an argument. That makes no sense. And this was an entirely all Korean cast. I think it's only mentioned once. There's a meeting with execs that I think had some people who weren't Korean, but everyone else is Korean in there. Every single person. And just because I wasn't Korean doesn't mean that I didn't resonate with the story. I absolutely did. I was practically tearing up because it was so moving. Now, you might not tear up, but I was. I was like, in my head, don't do this to me. Once I got towards the end, I'm like, this is a romance, right? Because I was like, what is going on? But yes, it is a romance. There's other stuff involved, and there's this, you know, they speak on family, like a Korean family, and how that Korean family unit is. And just because I'm not Korean doesn't mean that I don't get it. You know what I mean? But yeah, I absolutely loved this. It was a 5-star. I did peep that the author, Susan Lee, has another book. Her debut is called Soulmates. I have to read it. I think it's another YA romance. I love this. She's definitely an author that is now on my radar. So yeah, that is my, what is this, book 4? Book 4 is done. Now last on my list is Intermission by Phyllis Dixon. I did go ahead and, oh, by the way, this is crack. By the time this video is out, I think the other video of me practicing for my 24-hour readathon will already be out. It may or may not be. I don't remember. Where was this when I needed? Where was this when I filmed that? I had such a hard time doing that. If I had this, I would have devoured that. I should have just done my 24-hour readathon had I had this, which I will have this by then. I think I read for about 3 hours. That's why I was able to finish the name drop today, because I read so much yesterday. I didn't read for 3 hours. I know I'm lying. When I had gotten back yesterday, I started on, 2 hours and 50 minutes or something? And I ended up dropping it down to like an hour 50. And I read that today. This is crack. I was listening to some jazz and I was jamming. Of course, music without words, because then I can't focus. But yeah, I did go ahead and start Intermission. I'm hoping it's not a DNF. I'm just getting anxious because that's the last book for this video. And then this video I've literally been working on for so long. It's now May. I don't even know what. Today's the 16th. I can't tell you how long I've probably been working on this. I'm ready to get them pasted together or whatever. I did start it. I'm only on chapter 1. I just read the prologue. It's in 3rd person. I think it's about sisterhood, which we love that, but I don't really read a lot of that. Like, it's always going to be either romance or thriller for me. But yeah, we started that. Oh, it's only 320 pages, but it's like 60 something chapters. So these chapters are going to be very short, and I'm wondering if that's going to work against the book, meaning the story might come off choppy to me, and I do not like a choppy story. It's one thing if it were longer than 320. I can't believe I'm saying this now, but 320 ain't nothing. that is short to me now, because you know I've read so many other longer books. But yeah, we're gonna continue that today. I don't think I'll finish it just because today is Tuesday and tonight is the 7 Little Johnstons. So yeah, we're gonna do that. So hopefully I don't have to edit this too much. But yeah, I'll see you back with the last book probably tomorrow. If that's only if I see you back tonight, that's bad news. That means I DNF'd. So I should see you tomorrow. If not, Thursday. But yeah. Okay. Toodaloo. My newest one is Intermission by Phyllis R. Dixon. I've already sent it to my Kindle. They've all been sent. So this is Dreamgirls meets Waiting to Exhale by way of Destiny's Child with a nostalgic 90s twist. Very interesting. So as glittering as their name, the Diamonds were on the brink of 90s pop music stardom until betrayal tore them apart. Now these 4 different women are getting a second shot at success, but will reuniting mend their rift, or will lasting secrets, unspoken betrayals, new temptations, and the hard knocks of today's music industry destroy them and their dreams for good? Angel, Carmen, Doreen, Jade, talented Memphis girls who had a brush with pop music fame, guided by Carmen's warm-hearted mother. But when she was elbowed out for a bigger manager, Carmen walked too. The bitter breakup shattered the Diamonds' never-easy sisterhood and cost them the big time. Now a reunion offers a fresh start just as midlife struggles are pushing all 4 to the brink. Angel hopes to reignite her failing solo career, but her insatiable ego keeps getting in the way. Carmen was the group's peacemaker, but with her son in serious trouble, she's run out of patience. Doreen longs to recapture the highs of performing, minus the drug haze. Ooh, Lord. Even as it risks her life as a pastor's wife. And Jade, I'm sorry. And Jade, always the wallflower, is determined to get recognized this time around. As the women contend with the new and overwhelming demands of celebrity, they find that the old traps have stayed the same. Can they ever reach true sisterhood and help each other become the sparkling gems they were meant to be? Okay, it's giving. So it seems like there's only 2 people who have read it. They've given it 5 stars. It's not that long. It's 320 pages. We like that. We like it to be a little short. So that's Intermission. Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. I have completed all of my NetGalley. So let's talk about Intermission. I enjoyed it. I really did. I'm going to give it a 4 star. I did not think I was going to give it a 4 star. And actually, once I got towards the end, like the last 20 minutes, not 20 minutes, the last 20%, no, I would say once I got to the last 10%, I was so moved and so pleased by the ending, I almost wanted to give it a 5 star. But I was like, no, you have to remember, there were parts that just didn't work for me, you know? The thing is, I went into it expecting one thing, and I got something else. So I was expecting to meet the 4 women, see where they are now, what their problem is, and why they're gonna have to join and go on this tour because they're gonna need money. So why is that? And so I thought the whole book was going to be the tour and them and then them rehashing everything because the group had ended, obviously. That's not what happens at all. We meet the 4 women, we see where they are now, we see their problem, and then we just expound on that, and that's the whole book. So I was not expecting that. The book was really good. For some reason I just couldn't even DNF it. I know at the beginning I was kind of like, I don't know if I can do it, but I think it was because I was expecting something else, right? And I The only thing that I will say is I think that the story dragged on for too long. Once we were introduced to the characters and we saw their problem, it's like they let the problem go on for too long before we had some kind of solution. It just dragged on for too long. However, I still couldn't bring myself to DNF it. I mean, there was something about it that I wanted to finish it. I wanted to see everything through, everyone's story through, to see how it wrapped up. And I think it really did wrap up pretty nicely. Again, by the time I finished, I almost wanted to give it a 5-star because I'm like, I loved it. But then I was like, no, you gotta think back on when you struggled. But yeah, so I wanted to recap what I've read because I could totally put them in order. So I'm gonna start with my number 1 book, which was The Name Drop. That was the one that I read before. I absolutely devoured that book. 5-star. My number 2 spot I would give to Have To Heist. I remember giving that a 4.75. I think it was just because it wasn't a rom-com to me, so I felt misled. My number 3 spot, my number 3 and 4, I didn't know because I think I gave both Dark Corners and Intermission a 4-star. But I was thinking about it last night, and I think I'm gonna give the number 3 spot to Intermission. There was just something about it. I couldn't not like DNF it. You know what I mean? No, I couldn't DNF it. And then I'm gonna give my number 4 spot to Dark Corners by Megan Golden. It was good, but I do remember, I feel like oh my gosh, I'm striped. I don't really look in the viewfinder or whatever that's called. If I'm being honest, I look at the camera, the lens. What is this? I'm locked up, won't let me out. So that's my number 3 spot. No, that's my number 4 spot, Dark Corners. And then dead last, coming in with 1 star, is The Younger Wife. Did not like it at all. Now, would I still recommend it to some people? Sure. I always say there's never a book that I won't not recommend unless it's like a problematic author, or I just thought that there was something very problematic within the story. But even if I don't like a book, you know, besides all of that, if there's a book that I don't like and I give a 1 star or I even DNF it, I'm still gonna find someone to recommend it to, because just because I didn't like it doesn't mean that someone else might not like it. And sometimes I'm not really in the mood to read something, so that can affect my taste. But I would still recommend The Younger Wife. That might be something you're into. Just know going into it that it's not a thriller. It's more domestic suspense. But yeah, that's it for this week's video. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Bye!